Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back, welcome back. So exciting. New Premier League season. New location, as you can see. New FPL season starting soon. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And I'm so happy I'm back doing these videos. This is the first one. It's going to be a lot of talk today. There's a lot of things to check out. The reason why I haven't made a video so far is because, I hate jumping on drafts way too early, months and months in advance. I mean, we're 9 days away from the Premier League season starting, and still to this day, we're so unclear. I think the problem with having Euros and the Copa America and now the Olympic Games in France has just made it a bit doubtful. There's still players to come back. Not a lot of transfers. We're used to having transfers in way earlier. So I think that has also slowed down the transfer market a bit, having the Euros and everything else. But exciting anyways. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Finally, Premier League is back and FPL is back. As an Arsenal fan, I have to say, I've been longing for days like this to actually look forward to the season starting. Wow. I started supporting Arsenal in 2006, I think it was 2006. After Thierry Henry left. So you can only imagine what I've been through since those days, hoping that one day we'll be here challenging for the title, which I think this year I have a suspicion that we might just nick it. I look around, it's only City that I fear, to be honest, just objectively, even as a non-Arsenal, if I was an Arsenal fan, I don't see the other teams. I think a lot of them are going through transitional period. I don't know what to make of them. You never know what's going to happen with Liverpool, Klopp leaving. They've been performing well in preseason, surprisingly. So you never know. But I don't think they'll challenge for title this year. Maybe next year. I guess they'll have to see how the new coach wants to develop his game and give him a season, see what players does he need for his style of play and all of that. There's so much to talk about. Arsenal bringing in Calafiori. Oh my God. Sometimes it feels like a dream. I don't know if I'm dreaming or... just not long ago. I remember we had a back four of Lichtsteiner, Shkodran Mustafi, Papathopoulos, and Kolasinac. And we've gone from that to having the best defense in the Premier League last season. And still, the first player they buy is a defender. I don't know what's happening at my club, but I'm enjoying it, As long as it lasts, I'm here. We'll be there, as Guardiola used to say. City, on the other hand, I don't know. I was looking today. I was playing with my FPL team at the draft, and it just doesn't excite me outside of, the De Bruynes and the Haalands. The rest of the team is just... I know they won the title last year, but Julian Alvarez is leaving for Atletico Madrid, according to the transfer guru. For 75 million, so they definitely have some money in the bank. They can go and invest. But until they bring some players in, I don't know. They can still go out and win it. They have the best coach in the world, so nobody would be mad or shocked if they win it. It would be fifth in a row. But I just hope, for my sake and for football's sake, that Arsenal nick it this year, or someone else, but it's most likely Arsenal. But anyways, there's so much fantasy to talk about. Wow. I've been missing... I don't have any friend or anyone in my family who's friends that are here, obviously, where I live, because I have friends that play fantasy, but they're away from me. So I have no one to talk to, and this platform has helped me to just let it all out, let my exciting out, my pain, the joy, and everything regarding Premier League and FPL in general. So yeah, there's so much to talk about, but I'm still nowhere with drafts, to be honest. I have a draft I'm going to show you in a bit. But there's a lot of things that have happened this season. First of all, the prices have gone off the roof, which is good, I think. It's good because you saw last season, what happened a lot was that people have similar teams. You had a Nabos like Cole Palmer, who's more than doubled in price. He started at 5.0, can you believe it, last year, and ended up he scored the most points last season, and now it's on 10.5 from 5.0, which is good because this season I have a feeling is going to be a lot different, not a bit different. I see the drafts on most. I did a lot of research these 2 days, and on the FPL content creators and on Twitter as well. And most of the drafts look very different. And the reason why I think is there's a lot of good players that want to have. You know, the likes of Sakas and Fodens, who last year were, you know, top performers, are now you don't see them. Like, especially both of them. I don't think I've seen both of them in any drafts. Like, you either have one or the other or none. So it's interesting. Haaland has gone on 15. That's wow. Since I started playing, at least, I think I heard Van Persie when he moved to Man United. One of the season was 15, but I didn't play fantasy back at those days. So this is the most expensive player since I started playing, basically. Starting at 15. Salah, 12.5. I don't remember what he started last season. I think it was same, or 13 or 12.5. But to Salah or not to Salah? To Haaland or not to Haaland? There's so many questions. Can we fit both in a draft? I mean, you can, but then the rest of the drafts looks very shit. So these are all the dilemmas. We have 9 days. I mean, deadline next Friday. I can't believe it. Next Friday. Starting with Fulham Man United, or Man United Fulham. It's at Old Trafford. Wow. I'm not ready. I'm nowhere near ready. I honestly, I'm nowhere near ready. But I'm going to show you. It's just, wow. Who do we leave behind? Do we leave Salah or do we leave Haaland? I think I was leaning to leaving Haaland, but now I have something. I'm going to discuss it later as well. Something convincing me to start, because I'm afraid to leave Haaland. I mean, look, they're starting. Their first game is away at Chelsea. He banked a hat-trick against Chelsea just 2 days ago or 3 days ago. When was There's new changes to fantasy because I'm going all over the place. I'm trying to collect all my thoughts in one. You know how I go into this video cold without preparation. There's new changes, but the most significant one we don't know about. There's a new chip that is it's a secret chip. It's a secret. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell. It's a secret. They're gonna tell us the secret in January, so there's no point of talking about that. There's some changes in the bonus point system, which I don't really care as well. Like, I haven't gone too deep into looking into it. Plus, it doesn't really matter. We never looked at what contributes to the bonus points or make decisions based on that. But the most important one, which I really like, the way I play, I really like this one, is you can bank up to 5 transfers now. Yeah, it used to be 2. Remember? You can only bank 1, 2, and then if you didn't use the transfer, it would be burned. Which last season, so many times I found myself with 2 free transfers, and I just had to make a transfer even though my team didn't need it. And I hated that because sometimes I just, ruined my team. Because I felt like, oh, you shouldn't burn a transfer. That's like such a luxury. But now having up to 5 transfers, I think that's great. That's like almost a mini wild card. Like if you have free transfers and you take a -4, that's 6 players. I mean, even when you play wild card, sometimes you don't need to, change 6 players or 5 players. So that's great. That's great. Also, it's a bit of incentive to play the wild card early in the season. So, which is why I'm thinking of starting with something crazy with a lot of differentials. Or not a lot, but, some differentials. Even though a lot. Anyway, let's just jump right into it. Because there's so much. Wow. There we go, fantasy. So I'm going to go straight to pick team. This I played with today, to be honest, because every draft that I made is just different, one more different than the other. There's never no similarities. There's a lot of players I want to have, but I can't. And there's a lot of players that I kind of feel forced to have because of, ownerships and shit like that. But I don't want to have. A lot of players are ifs. I don't know about it. But as I said, the good thing, I'm going to play the wild card. For sure, I'm going to play very early. Like game week 4, game week 5, whenever the first international break is. So, yeah. Flecken on goal. This one, I've just seen everyone has Flecken. I've just gone for Flecken. So, this is just a sheep choice. I might... who I want to have as my goalkeeper is Raya, which is £1 more, 1 million more expensive. Raya is at 5.5. Flecken is 4.5. There's a lot of 4.5 goalkeepers. So, doesn't have to be Flecken, but since everyone has Flecken, I just put it in there. But I haven't put too much thought in my goalkeeper. Turner in the bench, but also it could be any 4.0 goalkeeper. One thing to notice about, bear in mind about Turner is that his ownership right now is 22.7. That's pretty high. So if he doesn't start, which I don't think he will for Nottingham Forest, and people start selling him, he's going to drop in price. So it's better to have a 4.0 goalkeeper that is very low owned, so his price doesn't drop. As I said, Flecken, I don't really want him, but any of the 4.5 goalkeepers are pretty much similar. So could be him, could be anyone else. We'll check on that later. But I want Raya. I really want Raya. That was the first thing before I made any drafts. I was like, I want David Raya, but I just can't. Or I could. I'll see. I mean, come back next week, or maybe I'll make more videos before the deadline, not just one, because now we need to dive into a lot. On my defense, as you can see, I brought in Konate today, and this is I don't think anyone has Konate 2.0, very low ownership. But I was thinking, everyone has Trent 7.0. I mean, obviously you have to make sacrifices in your team. If you want a strong defense, then you're gonna sacrifice somewhere else, midfield or attack. And I was thinking, I want Liverpool defenders because they have, look at their fixtures. They have one of the best fixture run in the first 5-6 game weeks. All greens except Man United the way. And Man United, yeah, you never know. I mean, they could be better this year, but... So I thought Trent is going to play for sure. Van Dijk is going to play for sure. Left back, it's Robertson. I mean, if they don't sign someone else, it's probably, you would assume it's Robertson. But then other than that, it's going to be Konate for sure. Because who else? I mean, if Konate is injured, then I will just switch Konate to someone else who I think is going to play center back. And let's see how, Arne Slot is with his team. Does he rotate a lot, or does he just like to have, for example, like Arteta? One thing that helps with him is he just likes to have a standard 11 most weeks and then rotates every now and then. But Klopp liked to rotate a lot his defenders in his recent seasons. So let's say Konate for 5.0. You have a Liverpool defender if they keep clean sheets. I mean, if you have Trent, you're basically just banking on him getting assists and goals. Is he going to do that every week? I mean, he does have an upside for 2.0 more. I don't know. So for the money that I had to spend on this budget, I went for Konate. So I have a Liverpool. And I wanted an Arsenal defender, obviously. I either want the goalkeeper or an Arsenal defender, but they're all now 6 or 6.5. The starters, unless, let's see. Yeah, we'll see later. Let's see some of the other. We don't know if Calafiore, he's 5.5, I think. If he's going to start or not, or Timber, or if I see one of them starting, of course I'm going to jump into an Arsenal defender because I think their defense was best last season, and I think it's going to be even better. If they sign Moreno as well, it's going to be even better this season. Gvardiol, everyone has Gvardiol from City, 6.0 as well. He's there now. I'm not overly excited, but the City defender, nonetheless. He had a great finish of the last season. He did so well for me and everyone who had him. But let's see. Gvardiol is there. Livramento, I just played with this today. I was looking some of the other, I think it was Fantasy Football Scout that somebody had them in the team. And I thought, I mean, he's 4.5. There's a lot of 4.5 defenders. But if he starts for Newcastle, I have to see some of their friendlies before. If he is set to start, I would love to have him over Dan Burn, for example, because he has way more upside, playing left back or right back, whichever it is. But he is way more, he can get a lot of assists. On midfield, I have Eze. Again, very highly owned, 32.9. Good player, 7.0. Would have loved him to be slightly cheap, maybe 6.5, but still great player. If you remember my videos from last season, at the end of last season, I really, really, really rate the Crystal Palace coach, and they were doing amazing. So I don't mind Eze at all. Olise is left, which is sad to Bayern Munich. And Mateta is rumored to leave as well. So let's see. Let's keep an eye on that. But Eze, nonetheless, great pick, 7.0. And then, as you can see here, I have my favorite player. My favorite, even though I'm not a Liverpool fan. My Diogo Jota. Diogo Jota, my guy. When Diogo Jota is fit, when Diogo Jota is starting, even if I had the money for Salah, I want Diogo Jota over Salah if they're both starting regularly. That's how much I like Jota. So for now, I don't know about Arne Slot. He is Dutch, so this is a bit. I have to see. I have to see who are they playing. Do they have more friendlies? So because I'm saying he's Dutch and it's probably like Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo. Maybe I'll play him as a striker if Luis Diaz plays on the wing, but we'll have to see. But if Diogo Jota starts, this would solve so many issues for me because first of all, I wouldn't feel like I'm missing out on Salah at all. I wouldn't feel like. I mean, I know Salah has penalties, but I don't really care. If Jota is starting, especially as a central striker, I want Jota every day. And that would make me feel less guilty of not owning Salah as well because, I have Jota. He's my favorite finisher in the Premier League. And then I have Ødegaard over Saka. And the reason why, first, price, obviously. Second, I'm going to play the wild card pretty early anyways. And third, Ødegaard. Not only Ødegaard has started this preseason, one of the first players I've seen on Twitter starting the preseason. But also Saka is still not back with the squad. I mean, this guy, doesn't matter how good he is, he's going to need some 2 or 3 games adaptation. So I feel like Ødegaard should be the sharpest in the team. Assist potential, goal potential, everything else. So he's there for now. And Nkunku, who has 6.5, super cheaply priced. Everybody's talking about it. I know he had a horrendous season last year, a lot of injuries and everything else. But if we go by Nkunku from Leipzig, I mean, he was an amazing player. So there's no reason why he shouldn't. If he stays fit, and if he's starting for Chelsea every single game, Nkunku, great value for money. I think so. Especially now with Cole Palmer being 10.5. I mean, if Cole Palmer hits the same numbers as last season, it's still worth it. Even with a 10.5, even with a 12. He scored the most points. But we'll have to see about that. And that's why, again, he's not back. All of the England players, they're just coming back. They're going to take some time. It's only 9 days to the Premier League begins, so I don't feel like it's enough time. Early wild card again. So doesn't matter. For now, it's Nkunku. And then, this is the exciting part. On attack. This I haven't seen a single draft. Because I know most drafts have Haaland and Isak. And then they have Muniz or a 4.5 that probably starts. The one from Southampton. I forgot who it was. His name. But I went with 3 premium strikers in this draft. And I really like it. It's exciting. I got excited as soon as I had this thought. I was today I was watching a video. They were comparing Watkins and Isak, and then I had the thought. I'm like, what about both? I mean, if I sacrifice Salah and I get Jota, and Jota starts, we'll have to wait and see. Why not have both? Why not have a triple up of Haaland, Watkins, and Isak? Remember? Can you imagine what they can? Oh my God! Even if one blanks, the other 2 are like almost, I don't know. Last season, all 3 of them were elite. Newcastle's game, look at them. Sea of Green. Southampton home, Bournemouth away, Tottenham home, Wolves away, Fulham away. Great opening 5 fixtures, and then you're going to play the wild card. Watkins. Arsenal is the only difficult game, but that's at home as well. He could score there. But it's a sea of green. West Ham away, Leicester away, Everton home, Wolves home, Ipswich away. That is a great run of fixtures. Haaland, no need to talk about. They're fixture-proof, Man City. Yeah. So this excited me, having all 3 of them. I think this is very differential. I haven't seen a single draft with all 3 of them in it. Because people are getting Muniz, obviously. Because Fulham has they also have very great fixtures, as you can see here. But, and then the bench is also, you know me, I like a strong bench. The bench is looking great. Smith Rowe, I mean, if he's the Smith Rowe of 2 seasons ago at Arsenal, wow. He scored within 7 minutes of his debut for Fulham. So, that could be a great, and he's 5.5, yeah. Pretty cheap, enabler. Him on the bench, it looks pretty good. Even if someone misses out, you have Smith Rowe on the bench. Anderson, Joachim Anderson, that could be any other 4.5 defender. Again, very good bench cover. And this guy, who I have no idea who he is, Valentin Parco, I tried to do some research today. He's Argentinian. And he is tipped to be a very great player. And people are thinking that he starts because he's in 11.5% owned for a player that nobody knows for 4.0. So I have him because he's I mean, people probably think he starts, so that's why he's there. I have him covered, so I think this team looks great already. This is the closest that I like. I know the midfield is uninspiring, not having the big hitters, the Sakas, the Son, the Salah, but it's not a bad midfield. I mean, Eze, most people have. Ødegaard, maybe not. Ødegaard could be Bruno Fernandes as well. I just don't trust Man United. I have to see how they do. Nkunku, again, if he starts, it's not a bad player. How much? 17% owned. That's not low. And Diogo Jota, 3.8% owned. Great differential. And it doesn't make you feel bad on missing on Salah. I think they're equally good. And Salah recently he's still he's still Mo Salah, the best FPL asset to have ever lived. But he's becoming more an assist provider than a goal scorer. He has penalties, so that's an upside. But for half a price almost. No, 7.5, 12.5, yeah. Anyways, let's go to transfers now. And let's see what my thoughts are. So if I look at the goalkeeper, let's go to the goalkeeper. Let's go to the percentage. So right now, Raya is the most highly owned, which I understand, but it's also 5.5. So as I said, I really want Raya. Pickford, not really. I mean, let's see their matches are not bad. Tottenham away, second game. Aston Villa away. Those two will be difficult, but the rest of them at home, pretty easy matches. They could keep clean sheets. They had a decent defense last season. Sometimes up and down. It was always up and down with let's go there with Everton. But I don't know. It's just there's a bug flying around here, in the forest. Pickford, yeah, doesn't inspire me. Turner is the second highly owned, but I think because people think he's going to start again in his 4.0, but I don't think he will. But outside, I really don't know. No one outside of Raya. He won the Golden Glove, most clean sheets, even though he didn't start all the matches last year. So he's probably even more clean sheets this year with the defense. Of course, I want cover, and he's the cheap. If you think of Ben White 6.5, Gabriel and Saliba 6.0, I think Raya is the cheapest way into Arsenal defense. But I don't have money in this draft right now, so I can of course switch around, do some downgrades, and fit him in. But I'll see about that. Let's go to the defense and see who are the most highly owned defenders. So Saliba is 40.2%. That is insane. Over Gabriel. I mean, Gabriel is a more upside when it comes to goals. He can score headers. But Saliba, I guess, I don't know, the most sexiest of all two, the Rolls Royce of defenders in the Premier League. So I get it. I get why people are jumping on him. He's going to be there. He played every single Premier League game last season. Great defender. So I understand 6 point. He could be, if I don't like Guardiola, I could go for Saliba. It's just that Guardiola had that upside with scoring those goals, late goals in the season. Pedro Porro is actually not a bad shout. Even when Tottenham were conceding a lot of goals last season, he was still coming up with an assist or a goal or something. There was always something. So that's Porro is a great shout, and he's, as you can see, the third most owned defender. And then Anderson is number 4. Surprisingly, maybe because of his price. And Crystal Palace, yeah, if Gay doesn't leave, I think their defense is pretty decent. But if he does, I don't know. We'll have to see. Alexander-Arnold, which of course I would want to. Who wouldn't? But the 7.0 price, I need convincing. But maybe I'll just last day of the deadline day, I'll just feel bad or have fear of missing out and jump on him as well. Dan Burn, not for me. No. I want something more exciting. I'll have to see which is the starting back four for Newcastle before I make a decision on that. Konsa is a decent shout again. Aston Villa, decent fixtures. And he is 16.4% owned. Trippier, no. I would stay away from Trippier. He's had a lot of injuries. I don't know if he's going to recover to that form. You know, he had like one season or a half a season when he was just immense. And after that, it's just been disappointing. Ben White, we have Brathwaite. And then Ben White on 11%. Virgil van Dijk on 11%. Mikolenko, 4.5. That's another decent shout. Gabriel is 11.5. And then it's Barco, the guy that I've never heard of. But, you know, Brighton does this every season. They come up with these players. I don't know where they find them, but they're all gems. So I trust people, basically. Mark Gay is there, 9.4. Talk that he's going to go to Newcastle. That would be actually, if he keeps his price and he goes to Newcastle, that's my Newcastle defender. There you have it. That's your answer. Kyle Walker, not for me again. He started most of the matches last season, but not for me. Anyways, I'm not going to go more down because I don't think Munoz, 5.0. No, Crystal Palace. There's 4.8. Nori is a decent shout. He had a great season last season for Wolves, but we'll have to see on that. And 4.0 defenders. There's a couple actually. There's a couple for. Let's put the price here at 4.0 and see. So Harwood Bellis of Southampton is the highly owned 4.0 defender. That's interesting. So it's probably going to start as well. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. Wout Faes of Leicester City. It's at 4.0. I mean, he's a Belgian international, so that's pretty cheap. But he didn't had if I remember correctly, the season they got relegated, didn't had a good season. He was just all over the place. But maybe he's gotten better. Maybe it was always good, but just Leicester had a bad season. You have Charlie Taylor, 5.4, and then the rest of them probably not going to start. Maybe Johnson of Ipswich. We'll have to see on that. But that's where I am on defenders. But the midfield is the biggest problem because, I mean, think of it. The likes of Son, Saka, and Foden are just three of the big hitters that are not here. There's a lot more. Let's remove Jota here just for the sake of. Go to the most highly owned here. So Cole Palmer, obviously, so I think people are expecting him to perform same as last year. He's almost 50% owned. That's interesting because his price is pretty expensive now, 10.5. Mo Salah, second most highly owned midfielder. And Anthony Gordon, third most highly. And I don't have any of them. You see, this is the fun part this season, that there's going to be a lot of differentials. And most of the drafts, so you can have the first three most owned and not have the rest of them. So it's all spread out. Look, all the way down to Bruno Fernandes. It's It's so many is shared between. So you have Palmer, Salah, Gordon, and then you have Eze, who I have in my draft, and then Foden, Saka, I don't have again, with 27 and 25%. And then you have Nkuku with 17 and Ødegaard with 17, which both are in my team. Bruno Fernandes, close to that. It's surprising that more people are on Ødegaard than Bruno Fernandes. That's interesting. Son, pretty low owned. Wings, I guess because of his price. It's probably the cheapest starting 4.5 defender. So those who are going with four big hitters, they have that as a bench cover. Son, Heung-min Son. Let's see how. I'm very interesting. I haven't seen any preseason games of Tottenham, so let's see how they start. I mean, it could be, but again, everything that I'm talking about, the good thing is having early wild card or playing wild card early, and that makes it easier to do that when you have up to 5 transfers you can bang. Because when you play the wild card, you're going to think at least 3 or 4 weeks ahead. And then you're going to pile up those free transfers, and you can make changes if it goes bad. Garnacho is someone who interests me. I like Garnacho. People know that. I think he's decent if he starts, but we'll have to wait and see who's going to start on the left wing. Kudus, 10.1, but they have very difficult fixtures. I think West Ham. He wasn't my thought, but look at this. Not for the start of the season. Maybe later, bring him in and see how he performs. But that's it. And then Maynor, Rodrigo, not for me. Bowen, not again. Rogers is another one. He's only 5.0. And he was great. He was great at the end of last season when there were injuries for Villa. So we're going to have to... He's someone that you can keep an eye on also, Morgan Rogers. Gibbs White is at 7.1%. A lot of FPL content creators have him. I don't know why. So we'll have to see on that. Gibbs White, for me, it just doesn't excite me. I don't know why everyone... There's so many... His overall percentage, obviously, overall ownership is 7.1. But among, I think, the fantasy experts, he's way more highly owned because I've seen him in so many drafts. And I like Gibbs White as a player. It's just having an attacker from Nottingham Forest in the midfield when you have other... It just doesn't excite me. He didn't score many goals last season. So, yeah. De Bruyne is pretty cheap this year, 9.5. 7.0 owned. That's pretty low. I think if he performs well the first games, he's going to be in a lot of wild cards. I can guarantee you that. Buemo! Oh my god, I forgot about Buemo completely. The hero of beginning of last season before he got injured. He must have been the most highly owned player last season before he got injured. Everyone had him because of his price, obviously, and he was scoring week in, week out. But that's it. I mean, lower. Madison has fallen low. Wow. Used to be, what a great pick. Andreas Pereira, Martinelli. That's one to keep an eye on again if he recovers from horrible last season he had. Leon Bailey, Hudson-Odoi, not for me. Declan Rice, not really. I mean, great player, but in terms of FPL asset, yeah. Luis Diaz, again, didn't excite me last season. So that's where I am. As you can see, like there's 5 players on the top 6 owned I don't have. Palmer, Salah, Gordon, Foden, Saka. So I'm going to have to, think about it. Do I want to risk it? Start the season with a midfield that is so, or not very low owned, but at least not having the big hitters, or not. Let's keep Jota there. But here in the attack, I feel like I have at least one upper hand because I have Watkins. Yeah. But also there's a lot of attackers, you know. Kai Havertz here, the first one that nobody is thinking about. Kai Havertz. I know it doesn't, when you think of strikers, it doesn't excite you to think that, oh yeah, I'm gonna take Kai Havertz and play in my striker. But he had a very good finish of the season, if you remember. He was scoring and assisting every single game from January or February on till summer. Joao Pedro is very highly owned. I think his ownership is starting to decline. I don't know if he got picked an injury or something, but again, I'm not sure about Brighton if I don't see like some matches close to the deadline and see what's their starting 11 and if he's been consistent. I wouldn't pick him, but he has a very good price, 5.5, and it's on penalty, so that's a good shout. But as you can see, I have 3 the most highly owned. Wow. Isak is more owned than Haaland on 55%, Haaland 41. Even Watkins is more 10% more than, or 9 than Haaland. That's crazy. It's crazy that Haaland was almost at a 90 at one point when he signed that first season. Now it's on 41, so it's almost a differential. Especially when you think that he's going to be a captaincy, choice almost every week, him and Salah. So that's exciting. I'm excited about that. But yeah, Joao Pedro, decent option if he starts. And on penalties, Havertz, again, 8.0. It's not very expensive. It's not very cheap. But if he keeps those numbers like he was performing the end of last season, that's great. Ivan Toney, somebody people have forgotten about. Let's see. There's talk of him going to Tottenham. If he does, at this price, that would be very interesting. Dominic Solanke, also him linked with Tottenham. So it's either going to be Solanke or Toney. I think there's likely that Tony's going to stay in Brentford and Solanke goes to Tottenham. Mateta, that interests me because he turned into a prime Ronaldo phenomenon at the later stages of last season. Mateta, but he talked that he's going to go somewhere. I don't know which team he's linked to. Hopefully somewhere in Premier League so he can be still an option. And then is Muniz. Darwin, don't even think about it. Not falling for that fraud again. But Muniz, Fulham, as I said, not very bad fixtures. I have Emil Smith-Rowe at this point. But if you want a cheap budget option, 6.0, I think is worth it. He had a decent season. Who else did we have there? Darwin Muniz, Kakpo. I don't know if he's played. Kakpo. Jamie Vardy, the legend himself, is back for 5 point. Wow, remember when Vardy was way more expensive and was bagging goals? Yeah. Armstrong, that's the guy. He's 5.5 for something. Adam Armstrong, who's going to start for Southampton. I don't know about Southampton. Xerxes, that's interesting because Højlund is injured. Maybe he'll start for United. Visa, also an option. Cunha. There's a lot of options in attack, actually. Gabriel Jesus, forgot about that. Calvert-Lewin. Uyo. I don't know who he is. Yeah. So this is it. This is where my draft is right now. As I said, the players that I really want is David Raya, goalkeeper. I want an Arsenal defender. I want to invest heavily in Arsenal defense because I think they're the ones who are going to keep the clean sheets the most. Midfield, I want a lot of players. I want my Saka, obviously, but I can, upgrade Ødegaard to Saka, even though it's going to cost me 1.5. Okay. If I can find it somewhere else. But I'm going to wait for that next week and see if I'll make a decision. If Saka comes back. Arsenal is playing today, by the way, against Leverkusen. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm going to check up the other friendlies of Liverpool and the big hitters mainly. City, Chelsea, Man United. And make the decisions. Man United midfielder could be nice. Obviously want Salah, but I've seen drafts with both Salah and Haaland. As I said, you have to sacrifice a lot in your team. So I think it has to be one or the other. I mean, you could, actually you could go with both. But then your defense is going to be bad. I think so. Because it's not worth sacrificing on midfield. My midfield, I like that all of them, if Smith Rowe starts, they're all good options. Then I'll have one to bench every week. So that's good. But yeah. Not much more to talk about on today's video. I think I already talked about it a lot. I don't know how long have I been talking at this point. But I am so excited to be back. So excited to be making videos again. I hope you enjoy them. I hope they help you. And excited for the new Premier League season. Oh my God. 9 days, just 9 more days and we're there. 9 more days and we're there. But I think I'll drop a video on weekend maybe. Let's see. If there's a lot of things happening and I feel like there's a lot of things I need to talk about. I don't want to, because there's already so much content on YouTube. There's no point of recycling everything else and just. So only like if I feel like there's a lot of talking points, I'm going to drop another one on weekend. And then next week, obviously, 1 or 2 videos before deadline. Because this first draft is, later, after the first game week, it's not going to be too many. You can't make too many transfers anyway. So, but now it's important. But yeah, that's it. I'm so excited. Hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe, like the video to help this. And see you probably on weekend or next week. Bye. Subscribe. Come on. Just do it. I'm waiting. Just do it.